Hello, friends. David Vos. How you doing? It's a beautiful day. It's going to start raining here in a couple hours, according to the phone, and so I'm looking forward to that. It's just been pretty dry. We haven't had any rain for a couple weeks, which we needed that. But now the buds are all coming out, all the popcorn trees, and grass is starting to turn green. Some of the leaves are starting to bud out. It's going to be beautiful in a couple weeks. But you know, I found something delightful today. We talked about the mushrooms yesterday, and I don't think that video turned out quite like I had intended. I really wasn't trying to put on display the psychoactive mushrooms as much as it came out that way. I was really talking about how amazing the mushroom itself is. There's so many different varieties of mushroom fungi. Most of the mushrooms and fungi and stuff like that, we don't know anything about them. But there's some misnomers, and that's what I wanted to point out too. And that is that we're all afraid of mushrooms. We think they're all going to kill it. Well, the same thing, like I said, with fruit, nuts, and things in the wild. Everything. We're afraid of everything because they've told us that. And after that video, I noticed a couple of comments. They're like, oh, yep. There's one mushroom. You eat that and you're dead in 5 seconds. You just sniff it. You're gone. It's over. You get anywhere near it within 20 feet and you're dead. I mean, see the point I'm saying? This is not true. And a lot of hype that goes around is ridiculous. So then I noticed also, and I'm not criticizing this. Of course, I thank you for the comments. And you're right. There are some of these particular mushrooms that we talked about in the video. There's about 2% of the mushrooms worldwide that are poisonous. But what I had pointed out is that this only just the one genus. And it's the, the ones that you see in the, that's what's interesting is that the ones you see in the movies, the beautiful red caps, the little warts, they're the ones that are in that genus. And they're the ones that are psychoactive. Now, of course, the society, they always say, oh, don't try it. Yeah, they're psychoactive, but don't do it because, you never know. There's another toxin that are in those things, and after a while, your liver will give out. And that may be true. I don't think people should be eating them every day. And I'm not encouraging anyone to eat those red mushrooms that you see in the, Alice in Wonderland. But it was in Alice in Wonderland, and it makes you wonder why they put it in there. And it's in all that stuff with the fairy tales. It's always got this mushroom. And it is that particular kind of mushroom, the only one kind of mushroom. And that's what I was trying to point out, is that they're really just, you need to know what that mushroom is, and then all the rest of them, you're not going to have to worry about dying or taking one that's poisoned, because only 2%, and it's just this one variety, is poisonous. And, as I said, interestingly enough, this particular poison is only poison because you take too much of it. So, I mean, that's true of anything. If some plant or whatever has a certain use, well, it has to be used properly. So if one pinch of that mushroom can get you high, the whole mushroom maybe could kill you. So it is a dangerous thing. You don't do things without understanding what you're doing. But people have partaken of this famous red mushroom, which we're not going to identify because I don't want anybody going out and trying to find it or anything like that. I mean, this is something you look up on your own and be well colleged in and understand the risks and definitely know what you're doing. And I don't recommend anybody taking that because there is some toxins in it, and one would have to absolutely be knowing exactly what they're doing. And it certainly shouldn't be something you take all the time. However, philosophy, religious philosophy, the esoteric wisdom for ages has said that that particular mushroom leads to an experience which brings the fairy and all of the magical things to life. So there's certainly there a rabbit hole that somebody needs to go down. And certainly not an amateur or somebody just searching for a cheap high. The psilocybin mushrooms are much, they're safe and people use those. And yes, some people even have bad trips and stuff. But as we said, it simply means that there's a lot of things inside of your psyche and emotional problems that you may have to go through. It really isn't a spiritual experience. But I wasn't really trying to go down that road all the way. I really was just excited about the fact that mushrooms, the vast majority of mushrooms that you see everywhere, are amazing food with so many phytochemicals that can give... there's lots of foods that they give you a high. And I'm not talking about, you're tripping like you're flying over the moon. I'm not talking about LSD. I'm just saying, like, okay, how about even sugar? Sugar gives you a high. And if you don't think it's a high, then why do you keep going for it? Why are you addicted to it? Because it gives you a certain high. Of course, it also brings you down, makes you sick and tired. It's a chemical, but it does make you happy. And nicotine does that, and it's found in plants. Smoking is not good for your lungs, but nicotine has been used in medicinal reasons and purposes for a long time. Tobacco is something that people have used for a long time, just like caffeine. That's a drug. And you don't drink a cup of coffee and go off on some spiritual high. You don't go off and leave your body and find God. But I'm just saying that there is certainly a benefit to some of these other drugs that may not be hallucinogenic, or that may not be a term that they use. But they do something. And each of these plants in the animal or the plant kingdom, there are many plants and herbs that have certain effects, some of which are, think about it. Even chamomile tea affects you. You say, well, it doesn't really affect me. And then you drink it and you go to sleep. Well, it affected you. It made you drowsy. Licorice soup, spearmint, tea. All of these things do have some psychoactive effect, however minor it may be. And we don't, if they have some kind of an effect, certainly if you were to boil them down and make a syrup out of any of these things, they would have a much greater effect. But we don't understand all these plants because for 1,000 years we were never allowed to understand any of this. We have to get our stuff at the grocery market and eat whatever they tell us. We've lost our concept of what it is to eat wild plants. And I think that is the reason we're sick. I was excited because I think there's a reason that they've made us afraid of mushrooms. And I don't just mean the psychedelic mushrooms. I'm talking about all mushrooms. They're like panicked out of their minds if you say, oh, I just went through the forest and picked a mushroom and ate it. And they're like, oh my God, you're going to die. Oh my God, they're all poison. Oh, what did you do? Oh my God. Mushrooms, it'd be like going through the forest and picking a leaf and chewing on it. Most people do that or whatever. We're not afraid we're going to die from chewing on one leaf or something. But it's just this panic that we think that all mushrooms are evil and bad. There's got to be a reason why they put this in us. And I think it's because not just the psilocybin mushrooms, but I think many, many mushrooms give you a euphoric feeling. You can go to the store and get some white button mushrooms, the real cheap $1.99 for 8 ounces. Or portobello is what you'll find pretty much in any Walmart or grocery market. And those mushrooms, you make a soup out of them. And they have the most amazing, they get one of the only plants that has vitamin D in that kind of concentration. And phosphorus, magnesium, and so many different phytochemicals and polyphenols and things that just fight off cancer. Takes away inflammation. It's an anti-inflammatory. And that's very important because as you get older, you're just walking around. That's why you have arthritis. It's because your joints are inflamed. And so if you're having that problem, you probably have an inflamed liver. And, most of your body's inflamed, your head, you get headaches. And so this can lead to diabetes and all kinds of things. And it leads to cancer. But this is what these mushrooms do. And there's other things that do it. I mean, you can drink ginseng or from a root, or ginkgo biloba, or there's so many, all these herbs that we never take can heal us so many things. But I'm saying, I don't know. It's like you're in a forest and you don't see any fruit, you don't see any grapes, you don't see any peaches, it's just a forest. Man, I can starve out here. What am I going to eat? And the average person, nobody, 1 in a million would even possibly realize that all around them in the forest is mushrooms. And 98% of all those mushrooms around you are not only edible, but very, very, very healthy and good for you. So, if nothing else, to learn about these mushrooms, to know that we can survive if anything ever happened, we needed food. We can go out in the forest and forage these things and boil them and make soup. But the other thing is that, and I just did this today, I took some of these mushrooms and just regular mushrooms, boiled them with some onions, some garlic, and salt and pepper, and boiled them for about half an hour, like a soup, and then drank it. Oh man, that is so good. And I was thinking as I was drinking, I said, what am I drinking coffee for? I drink coffee because I love it, but this soup is like amazing. I just drink soup. But it gave me this total euphoric feeling, like a lightheaded feeling of euphoria and a relaxation that you wouldn't believe. And I could definitely feel it. And I just think that, there are lots of soups and things that give you that feeling. Even pepper, at first when you're eating your soup that's really salty and peppery and some herbs can make you feel, hi buddy, how are you? What are you doing? Say hi. Yeah. But these phytochemicals give you this sense of well-being, happiness, not depression. So that's important. And the foods like sugar, they give you a bit of a high, but they quickly send you down into a depression or sort of a weakness of your entire body and a tiredness. They're unhealthy. They sugar promotes the growth of Candida, which is very bad for your body. What's interesting also is the mushrooms, all of the mushrooms, all of them, they literally, even especially the white button ones and the portobellos that you get in the store, they do react. They go into your gut and get rid of Candida. One of the best things you can do to get rid of Candida, and Candida is something that all Americans need to get rid of because it's inside your gut. It got there because you eat bread, which has yeast in it, and you eat a lot of sugar. Almost everything that we eat has got sugar in it. So anyway, I guess I didn't say exactly what I wanted to say yesterday in that video about mushrooms. I'm not promoting people to do things that are silly or harmful to their bodies. I believe everybody should be very careful before you put anything in your mouth. But I'm telling you that there's something we haven't gotten straight in the 20th century, and that is that the true religious experience is an experience where you are freed from this body so that you can face reality. And there can be some bad trips in that. Sometimes people have to go through their emotions and fears. But it's a process. But when we're liberated from these fears and all of these emotions, we're literally free and relaxed in our brain to receive higher messages from higher angels, and the fairies do come. And the tree spirits do talk to you. I mean, when you get that high, when you've got the psilocybin mushroom in you, you literally, when walking through the forest, communicate with the trees around you. And they say amazing things to you. They'll blow your mind. And while you're having this experience, after you've gone through a few emotional trials, overcoming some of those fears, and you've reached that place of peace, it's like you begin to understand. You literally begin to understand that you're a spiritual being. That this isn't... It's like you just understand what this world is and why you're here. And that there is no fear. It's just like the tree of life, because it gives you immortality. But I'm pointing out also, friends, that in nature, wherever you are, you'll find these things, these substances that give you access to the spirit realm. But that's not all we need to be looking for. We need to find things that are healthy for our, everyday diet. Certain medicines that might cure certain particular ailments and things. This is all out there. Everything has a purpose. And this is one whole area that mankind is completely in the dark about. And that's fungi. That's all been hidden from us. You got all these medicines and pharmaceutical drugs, and we don't need them. We've got these mushrooms and fungus all around us. And I think it's overwhelming. Most people say, but I couldn't understand what to take, and I don't know what to do. And, I took a pill one time, an herb, and it didn't do anything. All right, so you're going to spend 20, 30, 40 years eating all kinds of crap, ruining your gut and dying, and expect to go and take one herb that's, a little pill, and not even, not a whole root, right? One little pill and pop it in your mouth and go, I didn't get better, so that's it. Herbs don't work. You need to take herbs as a daily elixir of life. You need to eat your fungi and your mushrooms every day. I mean, just the portobello and that's good enough. Those have phytochemicals, and they will give you well-being and stop cancer and heal your gut lining. You need to do it every day. Just make a mushroom, onion, garlic, pepper soup every day. If you did that alone, you would start healing your gut. Start getting rid of the candidas. And it wouldn't be long. I mean, it takes time. You'd start feeling much better, especially if you can stop eating the white sugar and white flour. But with these mushrooms all around us, we have no real excuse not to be eating better. We don't have to go to Europe or some Brazil and get some superfood. It's right in your backyard. It's in your, literally, even if you're in the city, right in your yard. Psilocybin mushrooms are everywhere. In fields all up and down and around the whole world. You can grow them in your own yard. You can grow them in your closet. You can grow all kinds of different mushrooms. And each and every one of them has a benefit. I've got a beautiful mushroom that grows all around me here in Oklahoma, right here on my property. And it's a beautiful orange. And actually, I think it was in that video I showed you the other day where I picked a piece of it and I was going to see if I could use it for a spout to get some of the sap out of that tree. But anyway, it's a beautiful orange mushroom. That is called some kind of a chicken mushroom, that it tastes like chicken when you cook it and boil it in soup or fry it in a pan. People use that because they say it tastes like chicken, and it really has the texture of chicken, and it's delightful and it's good for you. And so, you know, if you were going to be a vegetarian and maybe you're just eating fish, mushrooms are a big part. Mushroom and onions and garlic and things like that should be a big part of your diet. And other herbs. And they're delicious. This is what people don't understand, is that frying big mushrooms up, and I mean, you could get addicted to this stuff. You start doing it and trying it, and then make a hobby out of going and foraging in the forest all around and finding different kinds of herbs and mushrooms and fungi and learning all about them. This can be a way of life, and take your camera. Not only fun things to do, but it can save your life. Can lead to a better way of life when you start eating them and learning how to eat them and becoming addicted literally to this food. It's like a delicacy, and we're not even eating them. How many people go to Red Lobster and spend $50 on a stupid meal? I don't even like that food, but some people will spend $50 because it's a delicacy. Dip it in butter and they're, oh my God, all this stuff is growing in your backyard. I got mussels and clams down here in the creek. I've got crabs and all kinds of fish a mile down the road in the river. And mushrooms that would dazzle your mind. Fried in a little bit of butter and, you know, put little onions with it, and oh my goodness, it's like a delicacy. You know, you can make a sauce and pour it over those mushrooms, and it's kind of like, I mean, it's better. Like, think about how you're hungry, right? I'm just hungry. I don't know. What's a delicacy? I don't know. So you go to the Family Dollar, Dollar General, whatever. And you say, oh, Chef Boyardee, that's cheap. I'm hungry. Let's just grab that can of Chef Boyardee, a little noodles, and all you gotta do is open the can up and pop it in the microwave, and you got spaghetti. Well, you like it. It tastes sweet and it's good, and it's very bad for you. The noodles are bad. High fructose corn syrup that's in the sauce and all that stuff. But you like it because it's a quick meal, and you don't understand. You don't know that there's any alternative to life. But yet you can spend an hour walking through the forest learning about mushrooms and finding how to, or even just going to the store and just for a couple bucks buying white button mushrooms and bringing them home, chopping them up into pieces, sauteing them, and putting some tomatoes and make a little tomato sauce or a garlic cream sauce or something over them. It's delicacy. You don't need noodles. These mushrooms taste better than noodles. They get the same kind of texture, or kind of like a chicken. And so this is something you can use if you're trying to eat healthy, that you will not miss the other food ever again. So anyway, that's that. But there's so much that we haven't been told, and we got to figure all this stuff and realize that this is real. Life isn't at all what they've been trying to cram down our throat. Life should be easier. You know, I was thinking about something just a little bit ago. I was watching this video, just a couple minutes of it. I don't watch videos very much. People keep sending me videos, so I have to click on it, see what it is. But anyway, this guy claimed that he found Jesus before Jesus was born, or whatever, which I thought was pretty interesting, because the Jesus they found was actually 30 years before Jesus was born. Like, well, maybe they misidentified the age, I don't know. But in this video, they were playing this music. It was like, that music they play in the Arabian kind of music, and you think, oh man, that drives me crazy. But you know what? I got to listening to that music, and I thought, that sounds really kind of sad. It's like, in the background, and it sounded so sad. It sounded like a dog howling. And I thought, what kind of music do these people in the Middle East like? I thought, that may tell you about it. I mean, these people were all dying. There was wars. They were fighting in Israel. They spent years just battling and fighting the Romans. No wonder they had sad music. What kind of music did we have here in America? Even in the 1800s, where I guess times were bad. A lot of the time. But they would play music like, it's beautiful, toe stomping fun music. Everybody dancing and having a good time. I don't know. It just seems like there must have been a lot more pain back in those days, in the days of around the first, second centuries and into the Dark Age. Oh, the music seems so sad, even up into Europe. So that music just seems very sad, and so that, I don't know, that may be an indication of how we're actually happier today than we've been in a long time, because most of our music is kind of happy music, and people don't even like sad music anymore. You play Patsy Cline and, people think you're crazy anymore. But anyway, I just think that kind of proves that people aren't as sad as they used to be. Because the only reason you'd be listening to real sad music is because you're mourning. And really sad. But yeah, I can't wait till the trees start branching or leaves out, and it's going to be beautiful. I was looking at some pictures of my property from the summer, and I couldn't believe the difference. I mean, it's hard. After a few months, you begin to forget just how green it was. And look how dry it. I mean, it's still beautiful. It's yellows and blues and greens and stuff, purples and grays. But I love the green. You should see the popcorn and the red buds. Oh man, just beautiful blooms and flowers everywhere. And I don't know how many other things in this world that we need to figure out that they're important and start, God knows how many secrets this world holds that we've just never known. I mean, to me, this is fascinating, this mushroom thing, because you see this little red mushroom that the whole world claims is poison and you'll die, don't ever touch it. And yet, if you talk to somebody that's ever done it, they say, it actually is a religious experience. So I think they're trying to keep us from something. There's something in the fairy tales like Alice in Wonderland. I mean, this can't just be some coincidence. There's got to be a lot of hidden secrets in the world that we haven't been told. So anyway, I'm gonna just do this video real quick today and let you guys get back to your supper, and we'll get back to the series tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great day. David Vos, have a good one.